All right, Shalom Akim. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakakwadash, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect. Now, in this article I want to get into is going to be a synopsis of this video, in which I want to name this video something to the extent of what a new normal looks like. All right, because we understand that, this world is not the same as it used to be. People's freedoms have been compromised, through this coronavirus crisis. All right. Many alternative news network are calling it a pandemic, which we believe it is. All right. But nonetheless, it is used to take away the world as you know it, your current freedoms, and then hand you a new freedom. But as the old saying goes, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And when you normally try to mess with something that's not broke, you normally mess it up. So that's what Esau is doing with this new society that he's trying to push on the people. Now it says, watch tech companies rushing in to develop AI social distancing enforcement tools. So as always, Esau Edom is here to save the day. All right. So it says, as PC plots, which I say Esau Edom meaning the so-called white man, these elites and the governments, that are in cahoots, with their plans. All right, their plan is ultimately to chip everybody. If you didn't know by now, the RFID chip written out in Revelations 13 and 16. All right, so it says, as PC plots in the UK and Keystone Cops in the US continue to bumble around trying to operate Chinese-made drones, numerous tech companies are developing more sophisticated tools that will allow law enforcement to more effectively police social distancing rules. And you see as they crossed out Big Brother, because we understand that all of this is to give, these elites more power. All right. It says developing more sophisticated tools that will allow law enforcement to more effectively police social distancing rules. Right. And as the ancient political motto goes, this guy Winston Churchill and other politicians have always, used it countless times throughout history. Never let a good crisis go to waste. All right. And when you look up the word crisis, actually, all right, it says a time of intense difficulty, trouble, or danger. All right. And many people, I guess you would call them, I don't know the actual technical term for it, but many people that have been in, the financial industry and the medical industry, they said they have never seen anything like this in their 20 or 30 years of working in their particular industry. So this is definitely a time of intense difficulty, trouble, or danger. All right, it says a time when a difficult or important decision must be made. All right, a critical point. So this is a critical point in which Esau feels that something must be made. This is why the article reads, these tech companies are rushing to develop AI social distancing enforcement tools. All right. Esau cannot police all of these people. They cannot police all these people. People still going to, gather in houses with you're not able to see them because everybody don't believe in what, the scare tactics Esau's pushing. Hey, as a quick testimony, I was on my way to work, so I stopped to get a coffee. And this, I guess this Hispanic chick, she was talking to this Jake. She was saying that you gotta have a mask in here. He's like, oh, my bad. Then he said under his breath, what the fuck is this piece of shit world coming to? You know, I'm like, shit, tell me about it. You know, I basically, I didn't mean to say it, but you know, it just slipped out. You know, try to be more incognito. You know, but they understand that. This is why they have to, you know, come down with more uh clever ways to police everybody. All right, so it says Californian software developer Landing AI has created video surveillance software that watches people and sounds the alarm if they get too close to one another. Landing AI has developed an AI enabled social distancing detection to a tool that can detect if people are keeping a safe distance from each other by analyzing real time video streams from the camera. The company proudly boasts. That's a lot, yeah. And what's happening now is what's been happening in China, and what I can see these the governments of America saying that, well, China's, you know, back up and running, and look what they had, you know. So in order for you for things to go back up into normal, you're gonna have to accept this new way of living, which most people will, all right, because they've been in the house too damn long and they're really just getting impatient. As a matter of fact, you have countless protests throughout the world to prove that point. So it says Landing AI explains that the system works by using an artificial neural network to detect each person and put them on the or in a box. You know, which it says ironic, you know, basically meaning that you're going to be ostracized if you're not following the rules. All right, like the proverbial saying goes, you know, putting a person in a box, like, you know, that you got to watch that person, you got to isolate that person. Then if two boxes get too close to each other, they change from green to red. At that point, it will be up to the police to send in compliance robots, kill squads, or whatever they have decided we deserve. And when you watch certain shows like Colony, it shows you just how this totalitarian system will be played out. You know, it's gonna come to a point to where there are gonna be checkpoints. You know, what actually is checkpoints over there in Rhode Island. You know, for people that come from New York and to Rhode Island, you know, they quarantine you. They check your you know, a lot of places you go, they check your temperature now. You know, but even though all of this is being done, it's not enough. They have things, you know, that they're now saying that the testers have false positive. You know, which Esau, he been knew that, but now he's, you know, relaying that information to the people. Why? So they can appreciate, you know, a new, so they can so they can appreciate this new way of living. All right. You know, hey, this man is very he's a cunning hunter, man. This man is very cunning. You know, as it says in Genesis 25, he's a cunning hunter, he's a man of the field. You know? So a man of the field, you know, let me just grab that. Genesis 25 and 27, and the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. All right. And when you look up the word cunning, just grab a quick definition. All right. It says having or showing skill in achieving one's end by deceit or evasion. You see? And what does a hunter do? You know, he might set some food in a particular place. All right. But the food, you may be able to see the food, but not the you know, the bear, the bear trap, or the whatever is surrounding the food, to trap you in. You know? And another thing about a cunning hunter is that he observes his environment, to see what attracts this particular animal, to see their mannerisms. All right, so this is Esau being a cunning hunter. A similar technology is already being introduced by Amazon in its warehouses, with a company threatening works with the sack if they violate social distancing guidelines. Police in Westport, Connecticut are also going to be testing a pandemic drone that monitors citizens' temperatures from almost 200 feet away and detects sneezing and coughing as well as heart and breathing rates. All right, and hey, that's why they got these smartwatches, man. There's certain watches that they have the Fitbits that does just that. And you look at it as far as, I have high blood pressure, so it's good for me. But it's also good for Esau Edom too, going into that trap. What's good for you, best believe, is also good for him. Like the brother Shaw always goes into, the prey only see the bait, not the hook. So it says, developed by Dragonfly Inc., the software loaded onto the drone cameras also identifies individuals whose safe distance areas turn red if they get too close to each other.
Dragonfly is honored and thrilled to have been piloting a project with Westport, Connecticut, of the Dragonfly Health and Public Safety System. Dragonfly's public health and safety system uses standard 4K cameras to provide anonymized data on social distancing, heart rate, respiratory rate, and fever detection, all in the service of providing population health data to our public safety officials. The system does not collect individualized data. The system does not identify people. The system takes population samples and provides this anonymized data to our public safety officials so that we can have clear data giving us indication of population health and allowing our officials to make decisions based on real data. This system and our work with public safety officials is so important because never again do we want to be in a situation where we're having to make such drastic guesses for such tremendous decisions that affect not just human lives, but also the economy and the world population. These types of decisions can't be made in retrospect. They have to be made in real time. And with this type of data available to our public safety officials on basically creation of an early warning system for public health, then and only then are we going to be in a position to never have to be faced with this again. We have been pleasantly overwhelmed by the positive feedback and response from public safety agencies all over the country. Their response and concern for having real-time data on population health so that they can make effective decisions to protect the public is exactly what this technology was built for. Dragonfly is thrilled at the potential of this technology and the contribution it can make to the effort.
So it says, with the justification of the Chinese coronavirus now firmly embedded in society, there is a rush on to profit from stripping away privacy and personal freedoms. If this is our future, we truly have arrived at the prison planet. That's right. That's correct, man. This is the prison planet. And again, he speaketh smooth words. All right, but in his heart was deceit. Was that Psalms? Psalms 55:20. He hath put forth his hand against such as be at peace with him. He has broken his covenant. All right. So this goes to show you Esau's track record. All right. Look at the Native American Indians. All right. Look at the so-called African Americans. Here it is. They fought for this country. All right. And in the different revolutionary wars that actually helped free this country. So-called free this country. But what do they have to show for it? Getting shot down in the street like dogs, getting choked out. All right. Actually having dogs sifted on them in the civil rights era. You look at the Martin Luther King era. Our people were peaceful protesting, but they were still getting stomped out. So it says the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. All right. So when he speaketh, cool, believe it not, man. Know that he always has another agenda. Now, I also wanted to get into just a quick Google search of smart cities. So it says a smart city is an urban area that uses different types of electronic Internet of Things sensors to collect data and then use insights gained from that data to manage assets, resources, and services efficiently. You see? So now, what Esau Edom could do, you sneeze. All right? Tag this man for coronavirus victim. We got to take him away so that he won't be a debt to society. Meanwhile, it could just be a flu season like it is this time around. I did a lesson yesterday to where Sweden, they decided to allow this so-called coronavirus to bypass, and their death toll is as much as the death toll over here in America. Which America, they didn't shut down the whole economy. Now this place is on its way to a recession. All right, all for, a common cold. Really, it was a common cold. All right. But it says and the sensors to collect data and then use insight gained from that data to manage assets, resources, and services efficiently. All right, and even the brother Kazak brought out when you watch the show on Netflix, on Amazon Prime, called The Feed. That's a pretty good show. Going to show you that there was never nothing. The smart cities, to where everything was digitized. You didn't have to touch the door. Which means what? Less germs being passed around. All right, you didn't have to shake anybody's hand. You didn't have to really come in contact with anybody. Everything was digitized. But at the same time, everything was you were more at a risk. A lot of these shows, if you notice, the person that didn't take that vaccine, or they didn't get connected to the Internet of Things, they were more so in the better end. Even though they were painted as terrorists, they were more so in the better end. The ones that were connected to the Internet of Things, it always came out to where they were hacked. They begin to get violent because somebody hacked their chip. All right. So this smart city is not actually good for you. It's actually bad. It's actually going to make things worse. The new normal, all right, is more of a prison planet and more of a lockdown. All right. That's the new normal. But people don't see it. It says, and then use insights gained from that data to manage assets, resources, and services efficiently. This includes data collected from citizens, devices, and assets that is processed and analyzed to monitor and manage traffic and transportation systems, power plants, utilities, water supply networks, waste management, crime detection, information systems, schools, libraries, hospitals, and other communities. And I see this happening prior to this devil opening back up this you know, opening back up America. You know, that's a lot of things. A lot of different governments, they were saying that they don't want to open things, even though the death toll is plateauing, so to speak. They don't want to open back up America just to have just to put people's lives in more danger. All right, so brothers could look up when you just type in smart cities and go to news. You see things as early as 3 hours ago. People uploading articles. This one is pretty good. It says Ladar solution to monitor social distancing as cities reopen. Okay, so just look for more police presence, more fear, less happiness. That's the new normal. That's the new normal. And this is why, which I could keep reading in Psalms 55 and 21, right? It says, cast thy burden upon Yahweh. All right? Not a man, but the Most High, the Ancient of Days. And he shall sustain thee. He shall never suffer the righteous to be moved. All right? The scriptures also speak about how the Lord, let me see if I can grab that, will hide thee from the pestilence. Here it is. You trusting in Esau, Psalms 91 and 3. Surely he shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. All right, so the Most High will hide you from the pestilence, which another word for the that the Lord describes the pestilence as is a grievous death. Real quick, this is Jeremiah 16. No, it's Lucky. Salaki. Let's see. Grievous death. All right. This concerning the ones that turn away from the Lord. All right, just jump straight to the point. It says, they shall, Jeremiah 16 and 4, they shall die of grievous deaths. We look up the word grievous. All right, it means fakhala, meaning diseases. All right, a disease, a sickness. That's what you're going to die of for turning away from Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai. All right, but if you turn towards him, as we just read, to go back to it, Psalms 55 and 22, cast thy burdens upon Yahweh, and he shall sustain thee. He shall never suffer the righteous to be moved. But thou, O God, shall bring them down into the pit of destruction. Bloody and deceitful men shall not live out half their days, but I will trust in thee. All right, so Esau's a bloody and deceitful man. He won't live out half his days. I'll see a bloody man because he kills just to, just to see his plans come to fruition. All right, let's look at more of his track record. When you look into when Cristobal Colon came over to the Gadites, the so-called Native American Indians or the Hispanics. All right, this guy, there's freers that were with him. All right, I guess freers or would be like the Catholics. Catholic priests. That were with him. One of them being Bartholomew de las Casas, and he was even saying that even though, the so-called Native Americans that they encountered were so, nice and just brotherly towards them, he still had a need. He still felt he still had a thirst for blood, where a lot of them were put to death at his, you know, after years of him and his explorers coming back and forth there. So he is a deceitful man. Okay. This is Wisdom of Solomon. Chapter 2, I'll start at the top. For the ungodly said, reasoning with themselves, but not aright, our life is short and tedious, and in the death of a man there is no remedy, neither was there any man to have lived from the grave. All right. And this is how Esau feels. He doesn't have time left. So let's push this art. Let's push this our way of life. Let's push this our way of life and not wait. That's why the scriptures say he thinketh he shall come down with great wrath, knowing that he have but a short time. Jumping down to Wisdom of Solomon 2:10, it says, let us oppress the poor righteous man, let us not spare the widow, no reverence the ancient gray hairs of the age. So now you can read through, comb through the BS as you read these articles, and you watch this devil on when he does his particular interviews on how his vision on the new world would be, his vision on the near future. It says, let our strength be the law of justice. What's Esau's strength? It's technology. That's going to be that's going to save the day, not the Heavenly Father. And this is what Esau's pushing. All right. Even this guy Andrew Cuomo, he said it recently that it was us that. Let me see if I could find it, man. Because this is Esau's. That's how you know the scriptures be on point, man. The scriptures is the word of the Heavenly Father. So like it, bear with me. Andrew Cuomo. All right, so this is one of the articles. Brothers could, check more out. But it says, beware, governor declaring, God did not do this. Help us in our pandemic pain. All right, it says, reading down, he was insistent that God didn't make things better. Man's hard work did. All right, so it says, let our strength be the law of justice, for that which is feeble is found to be nothing worth. And the Most High is going to show you, all right, to believe on him is always, is and always, and will be always the way to go. All right, so that was it, man. Just wanted to, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. Just going to show you that Esau's plan on a new normalcy. So with that, shalom to the elect.